What's up, world? I am back. My name is Nicholas Coriano. Welcome to another episode of An Entrepreneur's Journey. Today, we're going to talk about how to sell services online. I put up a tweet a couple days ago and took a survey of what you would like to know about that I know about, and this by far was the leader. So I'm not even going to wait for the poll to be over. We're going to talk about how to sell services online. So I'm going to go over a few things. I got a list here. I want to make sure I don't miss anything for you guys, but we're going to go over some ways to sell your services on freelance websites, so on platforms that are already out there. We're going to talk about how to sell your services through tiny ads online. We're going to talk about how to sell your services on websites, your own website, hopefully, if you have one. We're going to talk about how to sell it directly to potential customers through emails, and we're going to talk about how to sell it on social media. So I try to keep these videos short, so let's get started. Freelance websites. Freelance websites, this is number one out of the 5 things that I want to talk about. Are websites like, if you haven't been there, go there. Upwork, UPWORK.com. Fiverr, FIVERR.com. Freelancer.com. Freelance.com. And there's a host of others. So if you type in freelance websites, you'll probably see a bunch of them. I've only dealt with Upwork and Fiverr. I know the other ones are great too. They all have a different schematic of how they work, but basically they all work the same way, which is you put up your service, you set up a profile on the website, kind of like a profile on Facebook or anywhere else, and you offer your service. So usually they have gigs, or you can just put a description and people will contact you. Thumbtack is another one. Thumbtack. Check that one out, guys. But basically, you just put up what you can do. So, for example, with myself, I offer business plan services, but this works for almost any kind of service, especially virtual services. So, for example, social media consulting or any kind of consulting that you can do over the phone, this works for. So, you put up your profile, you put up the services that you offer, and people will go on Fiverr, on Upwork, and they will find your service when they need it, and they will hire you through that service. They pay you through the platform. The platform holds the money in an escrow account till you deliver the final product, and then that product is eventually the money is eventually released from escrow. Now, if you do something like painting, or you're a dentist, or you're a doctor, you're a professional, you have another service that's not virtual, websites like Thumbtack are more for you. So they're kind of like a classifieds where people go and look for professionals in your area, or more geographically based. So just look up freelance websites, or really freelance websites is what you're going to look up. That's the keyword you're going to look up on Google or Bing, and you're going to find a ton of platforms. So that's the first way to sell services. Remember that they take a cut usually when people transact money through there. So if you're selling something for $100, they might take 5% of that, right? Or 10% of that, or even 15% of that, depending on what platform you are. But it's definitely a way that I've made money. When I first started and had no money, I put my services up and they buy the services from there. So that's one, the platforms online. 2, ads, small ads. So this is a kind of a throwback. I remember when I was a kid, there was a guy on an infomercial. He was claiming that he can show you how to make money from no money. And basically what he said was he sent you a guide. My buddy ordered it, and he later showed me the package, and the guy was right. He basically gave you a directory of all these newspapers that let you put up free ads. And if you put up 100 free ads, you're gonna get calls on something. I don't care what you're selling, tires, baseball cards, whatever it is, you're gonna get something. So the same thing kind of exists online now. There's a ton of free classifieds websites that you can put your ads on, and one of the biggest ones, of course, that you guys may have heard of is Craigslist. Craigslist is a killer for services. It's awesome, is what I mean. So I put up my services on Craigslist still to this day, and I consistently get calls. So you may have to set up an extra Craigslist account. So Craigslist doesn't let you put up 10 ads in one section for the same service. So some people open up different Craigslist accounts so they can be able to put up more ads in the same section or the same geography for the same service, right? But classified ads online that are free are a great tool to provide you with potential customers and potential leads for your service. So those are 2 ways to get it so far, right? We got the tiny ads and we got the freelance websites. SEO and your website is the next one. So if you have a website and you trying to sell services on your website, you may notice that you're not getting any calls on your website at the beginning, because it's a sea of websites out there, right? There's a lot of websites out there. So what I found, my quick tip for that is if you go to my website, nicholascoriano.com, it's fully optimized for business plan writing among my dozen other websites that are optimized for something. What I realized was that you're going to have a real hard time if you're a dentist, a carpenter, an electrician, a social media promoter, a business consultant, whatever it may be. You're going to have a hard time trying to dominate a keyword like painter, like carpenter, excuse me, for example, like business plans. What I found to work for me is what they call long tail keywords, or what I like to call long tail keywords, which means instead of trying to dominate a word like business plans or doctor, I focus on putting in my blog posts or my website pages, at least 5 pages, business plan writer in Connecticut or business plan writer in New York. So what this does is it gives you 4 words to dominate. And what ends up happening now, if you type in business plan writer in Connecticut, my website shows up #1. So if you have a website, focus on this tactic, right? So if you're a carpenter, don't make sure you're referencing the word carpenter or carpentry services, but make sure you're adding 2 other words like the geographic location or like your specialty. So if you do cabinet carpentry, right, it may be upscale cabinet carpentry or luxury cabinet carpentry. 3 words is easier to get to page 1 ranking than it is for 1 word, especially when there's a lot of people competing for it. So if you're a doctor, same deal. Instead of just doctor, right, or physician services, you want to put doctor in New York City, or foot doctor in New York City, even better, right? It limits that search. So that's SEO. The next one is emails. We're going to talk about emails really quick. Is basically get a target list of your potential customers and email them. Cold call, email them. The technology out there is incredible. There's MailChimp and Constant Contact are the 2 that are the leaders in this field. I use MailChimp. It just allows you to email multiple people at one time. It allows you to send out a link for a subscriber base. So if people want to subscribe to your newsletter or your email list, it allows you to email them all at one time. If you're cold calling somebody, don't reinvent the wheel. Google cold call emails, and you'll see a ton of people out there that put together templates for you that are great for cold emailing someone for a potential service. So that's emails. And then social media. Really quick social, like I said, I like to keep these videos under 10 minutes. Everybody's time is precious here. So social media. The most important thing about social media is you don't want to blast social media. So you don't want to just open up a Twitter account or a Facebook account and then, like for example, in my case, just put up business plan writing services, and then the next post business plan writing services, and the next post pitch deck writing services, and the next post financial projections, right? You don't want to do that. What you want to do is engage with communities. So whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram, on Instagram and Twitter, you have hashtags that will lead you to certain people. So for example, on Instagram and on Twitter, on one of my Twitters, I promote or I sell coins on NickieNice.com. Now this is a product, so it's a little different. I want to stay on top. So let's talk about services. So let's say it's a website design service or a business plan writing service, right? If you go on Twitter search bar and you search in "I need a website" or "I need a business plan," you're going to find somebody that just tweeted "I need a business plan." If you go back to one of my last videos, how to find clients on Twitter, it shows you exactly how to do this. I showed you exactly, and I found the client right there in the first 3 minutes. So that, and on Facebook, there's communities, right? So on Facebook, you'll have community of entrepreneurs. On LinkedIn, you'll have communities of entrepreneurs. If you sell services for fashion, there's communities on fashion groups, right? On Twitter, there's Twitter chats. So my whole point in this is that there's communities, and you want to engage in these communities. So you want to start conversations with these people. You want to, mention something or reply to their tweet or their post. You want to comment on their tweet or post. You want to give them free advice. You want to engage. You want to start the dialogue with them, hopefully leading them back to your social media profile, which hopefully will either describe the service right there in your social media profile or lead them to a place that describes your social media profile. So we're getting to the 10-minute mark. Those are the 5 ways I've made money online selling services. They can all be done with no money. So if you don't have any money to start, this is how I started. I've always said there's only 2 ways to make money. Either provide a service or you sell a product. And when you're born in this world, you don't have any products. So you're going to have to provide some kind of service. So remember, freelance websites, Upwork, Fiverr, that's one. Ads, so any free ads on any free classified section, that's 2. Create a website or a free blog, Blogger, WordPress. These are all ways to create websites. When you do the first 5 pages, make sure you're tailoring it to your service. So make sure you're mentioning the service in a way that someone would want to search for it. So for example, if I type in, if I'm selling business plan services, right? I want to make sure I'm putting into that website words that somebody would search. So if somebody's searching business plans, they're probably searching business plan writer or business plan writing service or professional business plan writer. So those are the words I'm putting in there. Anything else, any other words are kind of just misusing the space because no one's searching those words. So that's 3. The websites, emails, right? Directly contact these people. If you have a potential customer list, if not, make one. If you're not creative enough to make one, find a creative to tell you, who do you think would use my services? And then go and find those people online and directly email them, and start the conversations that way. And then social media, of course, which is, it's an engagement, social, right? There's a reason why the word social is there. So you want to engage, 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 engage. Out of all those 5 ways, the easiest is Craigslist and the classifieds ad. Just put up an ad. That's the easiest. And then the most effective, I would say, is your freelance websites, because people are actually going there to look for services in particular. And if you get on a freelance website like a Freelancer or an Upwork or Fiverr where your services are already offered, there's a good probability that people are already going there for your services. So those are the 5 ways. I hope it really helped you out. If you have any other ways that you think you guys can make money online besides the spam, put it in the comment section below. If you think this was helpful, share it with a friend, tag a friend in it. And if you like what I'm talking about, subscribe to my page. If you have any other questions or you think I can answer any of your questions, again, leave a comment on YouTube. I'll do my best. I graduated business school, law school, and my mission with these videos is really trying to help entrepreneurs grow their businesses, start their businesses, and kick some ass on a daily basis. So good luck to all of you guys, and we will talk soon.